Hey, I'm Dan, and I've been teaching IELTS for over 10 years. I have a Band 9 reading, so I thought I would show you how I tackle true, false, not given questions today. And let's get into it. Right, so let's get into it. First, we have to read the title, The Impact of Urban Green Spaces on Mental Well-Being. Before you actually read the questions, I highly recommend that you read the title because it will be much easier for you to understand the questions if you know what the topic is about. So question number 1, true, false, not given. Let's see. So urban green spaces can help reduce stress and improve mental health. Now, in every true, false, not given question, I always try to find a part that is most suspicious, something that is very unstable, kind of a tricky part, and to be honest, I feel it in almost every sentence that, all right, so the danger lies here. They will use this or that word against me. So for example, in this sentence, urban green spaces can help reduce stress and improve mental health. I know immediately that can help, probably reduce also, but the most important part is can help. So this is the most dangerous part, and I really need to pay attention to it. So the question is, before we actually ask the questions, we should find some keywords. So urban green spaces, I need to find this in the text, right? And perhaps mental health, perhaps, maybe stress. So why are these keywords? Why, for example, improve is not a keyword? I mean, improve could be a keyword, but I just feel like mental health, you cannot really paraphrase it, right? Stress, it's really hard to paraphrase stress. And urban green spaces, maybe you have one or two synonyms, but you definitely have more synonyms for improve, right? You have enhance and what else do you have? I'm sure there are more, I just cannot think of any right now. So anyway, my most important part is here, can help reduce. So I really need to draw all my attention here. And the most important thing to do is to always, before you go to the text, you must always ask yourself a question. Urban green spaces can help reduce stress and improve mental health. Can help or cannot. So I go to the text and I'm looking for, what was I looking for? Urban green spaces. Well, I don't see them in the first sentence, I think. Green spaces, right, but improving the quality of life in cities. We don't have mental health here. So I go further. Green spaces such as parks, gardens, and tree-lined streets are believed to offer numerous benefits, ranging from improved air quality to enhanced mental well-being. So green spaces, that's what I was looking for, right? So they are believed to offer numerous benefits, ranging from blah, 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 I'm not really interested in that, to enhanced mental well-being. So enhanced is the synonym of improved. So people believe that they give several benefits, like enhanced mental well-being. So obviously, the answer is true. Because yes, they can help. They are believed to offer benefits such as this. So, and please pay attention to the word can. Here, they're not saying that it helps 100%, right? So they just say that these spaces can help. So, and that's pretty much what they're saying here. They're not saying it for a fact like they help. They just say, well, they can, they are believed to, people think that. That's what it means. Now, let's move on and let's apply the same strategy to the second question. Regular exercise in parks has been proven to completely prevent depression. Right, so again, I'm trying to find the dangerous place, so to speak, the tricky part. Which word, in your opinion, is the most unstable in this second question? I think this word completely is a very strong word, and it can easily change in your text. They can say partially, they're not sure, maybe, perhaps, but this sounds very, very confident, like 100%. So yeah, that's the tricky part, I would say. Now let's find some keywords. What are the words that are really hard to paraphrase and easy to find in the text? I think depression. You cannot really paraphrase depression. Regular exercise. Well, regular, often, on a regular basis, something like that. In parks has maybe parks. Yeah. How can you paraphrase parks? Has been proven to completely prevent depression. I also think that this part may be tricky. Has been proven. So has it been proven? But I still think that completely is such a strong word that it's probably the dangerous part. So regular exercise in parks has been proven to completely prevent depression. Please don't forget to ask a question after you are done analyzing the sentence. So regular exercise in parks has been proven to completely prevent depression or not completely prevent depression. And let's find out. By the way, I've never done this text before. It's the first time I'm seeing all these questions, so if I make mistakes, please do pardon me. Now, has been proven to completely... We're looking for depression, regular exercise. Studies have shown that exposure to green environments can significantly reduce stress levels. Parks. Do we have parks? Found individuals with regular access to parks, right? So what else was I looking for? Regular exercise. Researchers have also found that individuals who have regular exercise tend to engage in more physical activities, right? Which in turn has a positive impact on their overall health. So people with regular access to parks, which means that they go there regularly, right? They often tend to, we actually studied this word in one of the previous lessons, I think lesson 1, engage in more physical activities, which in turn, which as a result has a positive impact. Right, so has been proven to completely prevent depression. Now, do they say that it completely prevents depression? That's a tough question, actually, because they don't really... Well, they have depression here. Maybe we should go before that. Studies have shown that exposure to green environments can significantly reduce stress levels, enhance cognitive function, and even contribute to lower rates of depression. Right, so green environments, so that's basically parks, right? They reduce stress and they can even contribute to lower rates of depression. So lower rates, right? Does it mean completely get rid of, completely prevent? Not really. Completely is 100%, and lower rate is, well, maybe like 20 out of 100. So that's probably false, right? I hope you see that there is some contradiction between completely and, what was it? And lower rates. By the way, contribute to means leads to. Like they lead to lower rates, they cause lower rates of depression. All right, let's move on. Wealthier neighborhoods tend to have better access to green spaces than lower income areas. Wealthier neighborhoods tend to have better access to green spaces than lower income areas. Well, I see that here we have what is called a comparison, right? So they are comparing wealthier neighborhoods with what? With lower income areas, right? So basically it's like, why am I writing with my mouse? I have my pen here. And how do I switch my camera? All right. So sorry about that. I was actually using my mouse and I have a dedicated pen for this, so it will be more convenient now. Wealthier neighborhoods tend to have more access, better access. So X is bigger than y, right? So the only thing we care about here is because there is some comparison, wealthier than, we really care about the son. Do they really have better access? So my tricky part is, they tend to have better access to green spaces or not really? So in other words, x is bigger than y or no? Let's see. So I'm looking for, obviously, wealthy neighborhoods and lower income areas. Let's see. Now, despite the benefits, the availability of green spaces varies significantly between cities and even different neighborhoods. Wealthier areas often have better access to parks and gardens, while lower income communities may have limited. So this one is actually kind of easy. I'm actually disappointed at how easy this was. So I didn't even have time to enjoy this properly. Now, often have better access. There you go. To parks and gardens. Tend to have better access to green spaces. So obviously true. Yes, they do. All right, question 4. Some experts believe urban planning policies should ensure equal access to green spaces. Some experts believe urban planning policies should ensure equal access to green spaces. So I'll give you some time to think about the tricky part in this sentence. Think about it. What looks suspicious here? What can easily change in the text? I think here there is no single word like before we had completely. Here we have some experts believe, right? So we need to make sure that some experts think that policies should ensure equal access to green spaces. So basically we are looking for green spaces as our keyword, obviously. Maybe experts also. Urban planning policies should ensure. Maybe urban planning policies, yes. So we need to find some policies, some strategies. And yeah, the most important part, as usual, is the question. Some experts believe urban planning policies should ensure equal access to green spaces, or some experts don't believe. I feel like the danger lies here. So let's see. This is parity. All right, we have experts here. And as you can see, I'm just going one by one. Yeah, like the answers that I find are placed one after another. So this disparity has led to some experts to argue, and they argue, it means that they think this way, they claim, that's their position, right? That urban planning policies should prioritize equal access to green areas to ensure that all residents can benefit. Again, this is kind of easy, I'll be honest with you. But yeah, they argue that urban planning policies should prioritize equal access to green areas. Yeah, should make a priority. This should be the most important thing. So yeah, that's their position. Some experts believe urban planning policies should. That's their position. So it's true. Let's move on. Do we even have not given? Yes, we do. Now, the economic benefits of green spaces are limited to increased property values. The economic benefits of green spaces are limited to increased property values. Now, where is the tricky part? You tell me, please. Now, if you said are limited to, then you're right. Again, this is a very strong word, limited. Yeah, it means that they have no access, or maybe they have little access. They don't have full access. So the economic benefits of green spaces. Economic benefits. It's also very useful to think about what it all means, So green spaces, let's imagine a green spaces, right? So for example, a park, it's a green space. So what are the economic benefits of having a park in your city? Well, obviously people will go there, they'll probably buy ice cream and spend money buying things to eat, So yeah, these are the economic benefits. So they are limited to increased property values. To increased property values. They are limited to increased property values. To be honest, I'm not exactly sure what it all means, but I think we can answer the question even without understanding it fully. Let's see. So we are looking for economic benefits of green spaces. We are looking for increased property values. So, all right, I think I know what this means. So increased property values. Well, property is accommodation, right? Housing. So like, let's say you have an apartment and then they build a park next to it. Are limited to increased property values. Is that what it means? I'm not sure, to be honest. Okay, let's just go straight to the text and let's ask the question first. So economic benefits of green spaces are limited to increased property values, or they're not limited. So let's see. Urban greenery have an economic impact. Properties near parks, that's what I was talking about, or natural landscapes tend to have higher market values. Businesses in areas with well-maintained green spaces often attract more customers due to the pleasant environment. As a result, investing in urban greenery is not only beneficial for public but also for economic growth. All right. So my question was economic benefits of green are limited to. Right. I see. I think that in this case it means that only the green spaces benefit the increased property values. Something like this are limited to increased property economic. No, I know what it means. So basically economic benefits, right? So of green spaces. The benefits can be a benefit for the property values, right? Like as they said, if you have a house, and they place a park next to it, your house will probably become more expensive, right? So increased property values. But economic benefits are limited to increased, or they also have other economic benefits, like maybe they also affect the government overall, not just the property values around it, but also like the country in general, the budget of the country, of the city. Maybe it's good for that. So finally, I understood what it means, I think. Properties near parks, right. So further, urban greenery have an economic impact. Properties near parks and natural landscapes tend to have higher business in areas with well-maintained green spaces often attract more customers due to the pleasant environment. Right, so here is this one is tricky. This one was not easy. But as you can see here, they only say about property values. It's like accommodation, housing, right? But now we see that businesses in areas with well-maintained green spaces often attract more customers. So is it good for them? Absolutely. Businesses, let's say that you have some ice cream stall from which you sell the ice cream, right? Is that really property? I don't think so. You just carry it with you. Maybe you just put it up in the morning and start selling your ice cream. So is it good only for properties? No, it's also good for businesses. So maybe you do yoga there, like some kind of meditation sessions, and you don't even have any buildings there. Maybe you just do it on the grass. Yeah. So is it limited to only properties? No, it's also good for businesses. I think this is false. I may be making a mistake, which is fine. I mean, people make mistakes, and we can learn from this together. Yeah? So urban green spaces have been shown to increase business activity in certain areas. Urban green spaces have been shown to increase business activity in certain areas. So the tricky part, guys, you know the drill. urban green spaces have been shown to increase business activity. So I'm actually a bit confused right now, because that's pretty much exactly what we used to answer question number 5, right? So urban green spaces have been shown to increase business activity. So basically it positively affects businesses in certain areas. And yes, that's what they said here. Business areas well maintained green spaces often attract more customers, right? So what's the deal then? Well, this one is definitely true. We can say that right away. The economic benefits of green spaces are limited to increased property values. The economic benefits of green spaces are limited to increased property values. Now, this is just raw footage. I did not prepare for anything. I just wanted to show you how I would actually go about doing reading. The economic benefits of green space are limited to increased property values. So perhaps this is not given. I would think so. So urban greenery can have an economic impact. Properties near parks, natural landscapes tend to have higher market values. Businesses and areas. All right, I'm just going to read it one more time. The economic benefits of green spaces are limited to increased property values. Well, I still think it's false, because, as I said before, they're not really, these benefits, they're not limited to just increased property values. They also have benefits to businesses, right? So for businesses, so it's good for businesses. So they're not limited. I still believe that it's false. All right, question 7. Every city has the financial resources needed to maintain extensive green spaces. So the dangerous place here, tell me. So the word every is very, very strong. Every city, and also has the financial resources, right? So my question is, or maybe first I should find some keywords. To maintain extensive, green space, obviously. Financial resource, I'm looking for money, and then city, probably. But the most important part is, of course, my question. Every city has the financial resources. Every city has the money needed to maintain extensive green spaces, right? Needed to maintain, to support, to look after the green spaces. Every city has the money to look after their parks, essentially. So creating and maintaining green spaces comes with challenges. In many densely populated cities, limited land availability makes it difficult to allocate space for parks. Additionally, maintaining green areas requires funding for landscaping, security. Some city governments struggle to balance these costs with other pressing urban needs, such as housing, transport. So here we have some city governments, they struggle to balance. So it's again, we studied this word, remember? I think in lesson 2, in the second video that you can find on my channel, some city governments struggle to balance. It's difficult for them to balance this cost. So basically, it's difficult for them to find the money. That's what they're saying. Now, every city has the financial resources. Does it mean that, the fact that for some cities, it's difficult to find the money, does it mean that they have? I think there is some contradiction here. I think it's false, actually. Every city has the financial. So not every city. Some cities, they really struggle. It's really difficult for them, right? And again, some students, they like going too deep. They may say, has. Our question is about whether they have it or not. It's not about whether it's difficult or not. My advice, don't go too deep. IELTS is not a philosophical domain where you can speculate and go super deep and analyze and theorize. You should just stop at a certain level. So I feel like they don't want from you to be philosophy students or anything like that, like graduates. So yeah, to me, has the financial benefits, financial resources is the opposite of struggle to. So struggle, it's difficult, so they don't have some of them. All right, question 8. Some urban parks become unsafe due to poor planning and lack of maintenance. So, tricky part, you tell me. Where would you ask a question? So I would probably draw all the attention here. Become unsafe, right? So my question goes like this. Some urban parks become unsafe due to poor planning and lack of maintenance. The answer is probably true, but you should always make sure that you have this in the text, because even if it's logically true, you know this from the park next to your house, you still really need to double check. So some parks become unsafe. So I'm looking for poor planning, lack of maintenance, parks unsafe. But the question is, do some parks become unsafe because of poor planning and lack of maintenance? Let's see. While there is broad agreement on the positive effects of urban green space, some researchers caution blah blah blah. The way people interact with green spaces varies based on cultural, personal preferences. Poorly planned green areas may even become underutilized and attract crime, reducing their intended benefits. So the answer, of course, is yes, they can become unsafe. Absolutely, because of poor maintenance. Poor, by the way, means bad planning, right? And we have a couple more questions. So green spaces should be designed based on how people in different cultures use them. Green spaces should be designed based on how people in different cultures use them. So please find the tricky part. Right, so the tricky part, I think, is should be designed based on how people use them in different cultures. So it's really essential that you understand what you're reading about. So green spaces, just imagine a park, based on how people in different cultures use them. So again, cultures, it's difficult to paraphrase this, right? And now my question is, green spaces should be designed based on how people in different cultures use them, or they should not be designed based on that, right? So let's see. Therefore, effective urban planning should consider not only the quantity of green spaces, but also their quality and accessibility. Therefore, effective urban planning should consider not only the quantity, but also their quality. So, all right, and accessibility. Green space should be designed on how people use them. All right, so we have nothing about that, but maybe for a change, they decided to put it somewhere before, right? It's best to double check. Creating, maintaining an average challenges many days of population, limited availability, makes it difficult, okay, additional maintaining, blah, blah. All right, while there is a broad agreement on positive, some research simply adding green is not universal. The way people interact with green spaces varies based on cultural and personal preferences. Right. Green spaces should be designed based on how people in different cultures use them. So we only have, some cases, we only have this information that is related to the question, right? So the way people interact with green spaces, in other words, the way they use them, it varies based on cultural and personal preferences. It's different based on your culture. So maybe in China or Japan, they do some meditations or something like that. And then in Western cultures, maybe they just lay down, read some books and whatnot. So in some countries, poorly areas have become this. Therefore, effective planning should consider not only the quantity, but also the quality. Right, so, and I think, again, you shouldn't go too deep. You shouldn't say, well, they're not saying the word design, that's it then, it's not given. I would still say that this is true. You know why? Because we really have this sentence. The way people interact with green spaces varies based on culture. So it's different based on culture. And then they say that, well, you know, like this policies, this planning should really care about the quality. And they say this almost right after it. All right. So I think that that's what they mean. By the quality, they mean they should take into account culture and personal preferences of people. So that's why I'm saying that it's true. All right. There is a growing trend. The final question. There is a growing trend of replacing all urban buildings with green spaces. There is a growing trend of replacing all urban buildings with green spaces. Now, of course, the tricky part is, there is a growing trend? Is there a growing trend of replacing all urban buildings with green spaces? And we've actually finished reading this text, and we didn't see anything there about replacement, right? So the answer then is not given, because they didn't mention any replacing, that they're destroying the houses and building parks, right? So the answer is not given. Just one not given. I should be using my pen. All right. And now, guys, if we check the answers, we may see that, well, we answered true, false, true. And we have true, false, true. We have true, false, true again. And true, false, true again. Now, and in the text, we also have false, true, true, not given. So this is false, true, true, not given. If you are interested, you can actually read these explanations. But I'm very happy that there weren't any mistakes. Yeah, hooray. All right, so that was it. That was very interesting. Again, reading is a lot of fun if you learn how to do it. I guess it's like puzzles and crosswords, so it's like playing games, really. Yeah, I hope that it was useful. And if you learned something, please don't forget to click the like button, subscribe to the channel, maybe comment. That is, of course, if you want to see more IELTS related tips in the future. And yeah, see you next time. Bye.